For our street corn pasta, you're gonna need your penne, your cream base, some cream cheese, some corn, a jalapeno, a bell pepper, some green onions, pepper jack cheese, and we have hot smoked paprika, oregano, and garlic powder. And you're gonna need a tablespoon of butter, some oil, and some salt and pepper. So I have a pot of salted water coming to a boil, and I have drained my corn, and I just have it kind of like resting on a paper towel to kind of dry it out some. And then we're gonna go ahead and mince up our vegetables. So I'm gonna start with my bell pepper. Just trying to get away from all the white parts. And I'm just gonna cut this into strips. And just do this with the entire bell pepper. And then for our jalapeno, we're only using half. However, if you like a lot of spice, feel free to use your whole. So I'm gonna chop up the rest of the bell pepper. But we're only using half of the jalapeno. But again, if you like a lot of spice, use the whole one. And I'm actually gonna cut out this white rib. That's where most of the heat actually is. If, again, you wanna keep it, you want extra spicy, feel free. So I'm not gonna remove the entire white rib because I do like a little bit of spice. And then the jalapeno, I'm gonna much more thinly slice. So that the heat is a bit more evenly distributed, as opposed to the size that I cut the bell pepper. I'm doing more of like a fine dice on this. And remember, after working with raw jalapeno, to please wash your hands. Now in my family, they like quite a bit of spice, so I think I'll go ahead and use the whole jalapeno, especially because this isn't a very big one. So I will dice up that other half and finish dicing my bell pepper. And then for our green onions, we're actually gonna separate the whites from the green. And so we're just gonna go ahead and give this a good slice. And my rule of thumb is, even though it starts to get pale green, once it starts to get hollow, that's when I consider it no longer the whites. And that's more of the like green onion garnish. So we're almost there. So as you can see, that's a lot more hollow now and not solid like all these pieces. So separating the whites from my greens. And I'm just gonna do this with the rest of my green onion and then finish chopping up my bell pepper and mincing the rest of my jalapeno. All right, my water has come to a rolling boil, and I'm gonna go ahead and add the entire contents of my penne. And I did salt my water, and this is gonna cook for about 9 to 11 minutes until nice and al dente. And don't forget to reserve some of your pasta water to finish off our sauce. And then I've got a pan here, and I'm gonna add a drizzle of oil, and we're gonna go ahead and just cook just the bell peppers for about 5 to 7 minutes until they get softened. And we're gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper to these. And if they start to like char on you, you can add like a tablespoon or 2 of water, or if you like them a little bit charred. So just a little salt and a little pepper. So again, these are just gonna cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. All right, so my bell pepper has been cooking. We're just gonna add another little drizzle of oil. We're gonna add in our corn. We are gonna add in our scallion white, the green onion white part. We're gonna add in our jalapeno. Ooh, corn's popping. Turn my heat down a little. Making popcorn. Let me give it a little stir real quick. And then you're gonna add all of the garlic powder. And then only half of your oregano. Give this a good stir, and then this is just gonna cook for like 2 to 3 minutes. So while that mixture is sauteing for a minute, I am removing some of that pasta water, and then I'm gonna go ahead and drain my pasta. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn the heat off, and I'm gonna add about half of my hot smoked paprika. And give this a good stir. And then we're gonna save about a quarter of this to use as like garnish on top of our pasta. So I'm just pulling some, I have that bowl that I had the corn draining in, so I'm just gonna pull a little out. Like so, just enough to like sprinkle a little on top. All right, so I have my drained pasta, and I'm gonna actually go ahead and finish my pasta in this dish because it's bigger. It's gonna be easier to stir. So I'm adding in all the cream base. And then I'm gonna add in the entire contents of the cream cheese. And then we are going to add in half of our pepper jack cheese. And then we are also going to add in half of the green onion, the greens, and then obviously all of our corn and bell pepper and jalapeno. And then we're going to add just about a quarter cup of the reserved pasta water. I always pull more than I need in case you need to thin it out. It's just about a quarter cup of that. And we're gonna go ahead and just cook this for a few minutes until the cream cheese is melted and the pasta is all coated in a nice creamy sauce. All right, so I've turned off the heat and my pasta looks nice and creamy. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in my tablespoon of butter. And then at this point, after your butter is all melted, you can taste it and add more salt and pepper if needed. If your seasoning is good, feel free to then serve it up. And you're gonna serve it with the remaining pepper jack cheese, and then a little bit of the corn, and then the rest of your green onions. So as always, I look forward to your presentation.